All right, I'd like to welcome you guys to the Power on Tech Show. What we have for you today is crowdfunding and early access. We're going to be talking about this as far as games and some other like technology related content. I'm your host, John, and I'm here with Church.
Hey, everyone.
So, early access has been a common thing in video gaming and kind of technology industry. Would be more crowdfunding, but there is early access stuff as far as like the Google Glass and stuff like that. Like
and Oculus to some extent, you know.
Yeah,
they let you pay to get into the beta,
right?
More or less.
So that's kind of on both sides, and then you have crowdfunding, which is definitely on both sides. Where, and then there's crowdfunding in situations like the Pebble, where they're an established company that crowdfunds their like new projects. That's cool. That was kind of interesting to me.
Well, Pebble had like what, 1 or 2 models, yeah, before they came out with this latest crowdfunding. I mean, a successful company, yeah, but I don't know how many people they employ or how much they actually made off the first watch. I'm sure they got $10 million of crowdfunding, but they also had a lot of orders through that too.
Right.
So I mean, I can see that because. I doubt they have their own manufacturing facilities. They're having somebody else do that.
I mean, honestly, at the price you get with some crowdfunding projects, I almost think that they're not necessarily crowdfunding. I think it's just a platform to pre-sale.
Yeah, that's true.
Because honestly, they already R&D'd it. They have a demo model like of the watch.
Right. It's trying to either put in some like late game funding or early game funding, depending.
Yeah.
And really. Like get the project, the funds it needs, and have the guaranteed sales already. It's a pre-sale. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, when you look at it like that, it's a little bit of a different beast. Because then you're not paying for a company to R&D a project that might not happen.
Right. Yeah.
When they already have something that's solid. And that's the other nice thing about established companies where you're like, I don't know why I'm giving my money to an established company. They should have their own money because they're an established company. But on the other end, you're much more likely to get a product out of an established company.
Yeah,
not totally, though.
You'd hope. Yeah.
Yeah, because there was the whole Peter Molyneux thing with he crowdfunded a game called Goddess. And then some of their stuff was like multi-platform support, like PC.
Yeah,
didn't happen. And he did interview Rock Paper Shotgun. They were like, they started the interview with, "Why are you a dirty liar?" They really burned him. But he's had a history of under delivering on his promises, like pretty much for the duration of his career. Because I remember back there was stuff before Fable 2, but the thing I remember most was Fable 2. The thing with the dog. I love that thing with the dog. But there was also, he did that, like, I think it was like Milo or something for the Xbox. It was an interactive, like, AI thing that never came to fruition. And they demoed it, like, at the Xbox conference.
All right, so he ended up not doing some of the things he promised to do.
He didn't do a lot of the things.
Okay.
So the game was supposed to be multi-platform. It ended up only coming out on mobile. It was missing a ton of features.
Yeah.
It's one of those things. So, and I mean, he's obviously established in the industry.
What was that game recently? The dinosaur hunting game thing.
Oh, Stomping Land.
Stomping Land?
Stomping Land or
Stomping Grounds? I don't know. Stomping Land, whatever. So, dinosaur game. You can look it up on Steam. I'll find out whatever actual. You don't even look it up.
Stomping Land.
But I'll link it in the description for you guys. If you watch this on YouTube.
Yeah, it was Stomping Land. Oh, wait. Stomping Grounds and Stomping Land both come up.
Stomping Land on Steam?
Yeah, I think it was Stomping Land. So, that game was a game that got crowdfunded successfully.
Yeah.
Began development.
Yep.
And then the guy walked away. He got his money and left.
Yeah. Gave a bunch of, like, weird reasons why he couldn't finish the game or didn't want to finish the game or some other project came up and just, like, pieced out.
Yeah, I mean, that's a situation where people have already paid.
Yeah, I mean, the pre-sales. Yeah.
Right. And you could hand it off, like, give it to someone else, or, like, there's ways to continue development if you don't want to do it.
Yeah, I mean, that's true, but also, this is kind of what the folks on Reddit and PCMR are doing right now, where they're trying to tell people not to pre-order or join early access or do anything like that But that's also a very small percentage of the actual Steam users, good old games users.
Yeah.
That kind of Origin, Uplay. So I kind of agree with the mindset where it's like, I've only been burned by early access.
That can't be true because Minecraft was in early access, and
I didn't do Minecraft early access.
You didn't play Minecraft at all?
I played Minecraft, yes, but I didn't jump into early access.
Because it was early access until the release, which was like a year or two ago. Like, it was early access through most of its lifespan.
When they did,
how much did you pay for it?
I think $24.95.
Okay, so that was release price.
Yeah, I paid for it at release.
Okay, because it was $10 to $15 during its early access phase.
No. So I didn't play Minecraft in early access, beta, alpha, or whatever. Plenty of people did.
Right, and I feel like that game kind of spawned the prevalence of early access games.
Yeah,
because there was games before that, but none were so successful on so grand a scale as Minecraft. And then Minecraft, people were like, "Well, it must be okay."
Yeah. Well, I guess, man. But was Minecraft alpha and beta like polished games?
It went polished rather quickly, and they had a constant trajectory that was pretty consistently up.
Right, but it still wasn't like a full game, They didn't have it was a nice open world kind of building game.
Yeah.
But they wanted it to have kind of like a storyline. They wanted you to have with a skill tree came in later where you could do the little achievement things, right?
Yeah.
And then they added extra mobs, bosses, like all kinds of stuff, which they wanted to have in the original game. They just they didn't do that originally.
Yeah. Basically, like
Alpha was just a creator at one point, wasn't it?
At one point, yeah.
Yeah.
It was a simple creative mode, floating in the air.
Right.
Unlimited blocks.
Mm-hmm.
Then survival mode got implemented, and survival mode by itself didn't do particularly well until multiplayer was implemented. Yeah. Once multiplayer was implemented, then the game kind of took off at that point. Because there was a few people who were kind of more the early adopters who were playing it during the transition from the creative mode, and then they added creative mode back in later in multiplayer. Okay. So
Minecraft did well early access. And I guess that kind of set the stage for everybody else to do early access based off of we sold, 20 million copies in beta. And so the only other game I think I have purchased in early access was Rust.
God.
So I was in Rust Alpha, spent money on that. I haven't played it since, so I can't comment on what the game state is right now. But I know that, you were there when I was playing Rust Alpha.
Yeah, it was pretty rough. We had a fun few days until it got totally overrun with hackers, and that kind of exacerbated the situation where it was really buggy, and
it was very buggy,
and there was no sort of permanence or anything. Even though the amount of time it took you to complete objectives was obscenely long.
Yeah.
So to build a base or something took a long time, and then all that stuff.
I ran for hours. My graphics card was so hot. That thing was the worst optimized game I've played.
It was a pretty rough game, honestly. Yeah. But that one is a good example of games that didn't progress.
Well, where are they at now? Have you played Rust?
No, but I did watch a playthrough of it recently, and they've not gone far.
I feel like a lot of these games burn themselves out with this early access stuff because they get so many people in before they're really ready to have them.
Yeah.
They don't have the user experience they have. It's great for beta testing. But it's like having people pay for beta testers,
Right.
Instead of actually getting together a group of volunteers or getting together a group of paid beta testers or bug checkers or just anybody doing that kind of stuff. They let you pay full price or
part
a discounted price, whatever.
Money.
Yeah, money. Let you pay money to be a beta tester for a game.
They basically let you pay money for things that people get paid to do.
Right. you're giving them money for them getting information out of you.
Yeah.
Like they stress test their servers that way. They get plenty of bug fixes, bug reports, stuff like that. It's really ridiculous.
Yeah.
And maybe it moves the production process along. I guess it must, because they're getting all this extra information and money at the same time.
Yeah.
God only hopes that they could actually, finish a game.
Continue the trajectory.
Right.
I mean, the worst one that I ever played, there's this game, Starforge.
Okay.
It was, the trailer for it made it look...
Are you Celebrimbor?
I'm not Celebrimbor.
Okay.
I'm not a Ring Forge.
Okay.
But, so, this game underpromised at an epic level to the point where the trailer had content in it, quite a bit of content that wasn't in the game.
You mean overpromised? Underpromise is where they...
Yeah. They overpromised.
Overpromised, gotcha.
So the trailer had a bunch of content and features and multiplayer and things that weren't actually in the game. They were in the developer build.
Okay.
So they put that in the trailer, put it on Steam Early Access, sold the game, and it was not nearly as playable as it was in the trailer and was lacking a lot of features. And then a year went by before the next update. And the next update had, like, some blocks in it. Like, it was not anything that was worth the money or time. And there was people on their forums.
Yeah.
I mean, I remember me and my friend were on their forums like, what's going on? And the developers, like, it took them, like, 3 months to even respond to the thread about, like, a status update.
Yeah.
And their response was like, we'll get back to you.
All right.
Which is like...
Yeah. Have you experienced any other like alpha or beta or early access like crowd-funded games? Now I've played some crowd-funded games that have come out after the initial crowdfunding. Yeah. Which is a little different. I mean, I didn't give my money to somebody I didn't know. So I played Honey Pop. That was a crowd-funded game. They asked for $50,000. They got like, I don't know, like 90 or something like that. They delivered on every single feature they talked about. They did a lot of cool stuff for the people who donated a lot of money. And then they released a game that was very well received because people liked it.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen you and my wife play that game, and it seems pretty polished and functional.
Yeah,
I mean, it is what it is. What it says it's
yeah. I mean, it's just a very like simple, fun, very like
puzzle dating simulator.
Puzzle dating sim, yeah. It's exactly what it says it was going to be.
Yeah.
Decent voice. It delivered on every single bullet point that I wanted. Yeah, for a low budget too. I mean, there's not a ton of like visual craziness going into it, but yeah.
I mean, honestly, I haven't experienced. There's been a few Kickstarter projects that I've been interested in, but most of the ones that get successfully funded, I still haven't seen like months or even a year or so later. Because I didn't even start following the Kickstarter stuff till like 2 years ago.
Well, okay, so what other popular ones have come out recently? So they've Kerbal Space Program is beta right now, I believe. Still early access.
I did pre-order and pre-play that.
Okay.
And that game has come a long way.
Yeah.
But it's still not. The problem with Kerbal is that
it's a science game. It's
a sim.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's more of a sim, so it doesn't really have like a lot of the features that you'd want to pay for, because it's $29.
Well, yeah, but I mean,
there's for the amount of content and stuff you get for $29. You could
go to the Kerbal Moon though.
Yeah, you can go to Kerbal Space too.
Yeah.
But
no, I mean a lot of people get a lot of quality hours out of it.
Yeah. So that one would be probably a semi-success. Right. It's not finished yet.
No, it's not.
But they have been moving along.
Yeah, I mean they've been pretty decent devs about it. I mean, as far as I've seen it.
And they're pretty responsive and stuff like that too. And they get a lot of support from like the YouTube community and stuff too. Yeah. So,
well, I mean, what else we got? We got DayZ, right? That was pre-order early access. Yeah.
Still rough. And
that because they had the original mod of Arma 3.
Yeah.
And then everybody pre-ordered.
I bought that one too.
Yeah.
I buy everything, honestly.
Yeah.
If you look at my Steam list, it is a travesty of titles that haven't come to fruition.
I wanted to pick up it wasn't early access even, it was just a pre-order for the Dragon Ball Xenoverse game that came out. I think it's out officially now. I'm not sure. It's close either way. It was supposed to launch around about this time, but it's that might be a Steam sale one for me. Just the content. The pre-order was interesting, because you get some like cosmetic stuff, and I know you love pre-orders for cosmetic stuff for little boosts.
No, I like pre-orders for MMOs. Those are the things that I like them the most for, like content you can't get once the game comes out.
Trivial content, yeah.
In some cases, I think EverQuest was like EverQuest 2 was the only one. That was the one that had the best pre-order stuff for like the expansions. Like there was like a ring that gave you bonus to experience gain and stuff like that.
A little biased.
No, that game's horrible now. It's nigh unplayable.
Well, it's EverQuest Next now, or EverQuest 2.
Oh
they
my
did
god,
all
that was another.
Oh yeah, you were in EverQuest Next, right?
Landmark.
Landmark.
Next hasn't gone into like an open alpha yet.
Okay.
So, and it was supposed to be out.
So did you buy EverQuest Landmark?
Yeah.
How much did you pay for that thing?
$50.
$50.
$50.
You played it for a week, right?
No, I played it for like 2 days.
Okay.
Horrible.
Have you played it since?
No.
Do you have it installed?
No.
Yikes.
Basically, that game was so horrendously bad, and the idea behind it was pretty decent, to the point where you would be developing content for the MMO. That was the idea behind EverQuest Landmark. Mm-hmm. So it was basically like unplayable and pointless and not fun, to where only like hardcore enthusiasts stayed in the game.
Yeah.
So you would stake a claim to build on.
Yeah, no, I remember you going over it.
And then you'd collect resources.
Yeah, that weird kind of like Minecraft hand thing going on. Oh, that was another game.
That was another early access.
That was early access too, right?
Yeah.
Man, so early access and crowdfunding. Obviously, you've been suckered, for lack of a better term, by more early access and crowdfunding stuff. No crowdfunding really, but early access stuff than I have.
Yeah.
Just because I don't know, I tend to shy away from making those kinds of purchases, I guess. I don't buy games that I don't think I'll just enjoy outright anyway.
I mean, the idea behind buying them is that people I know are playing them.
Right, yeah.
So what happens is someone I know wants to play this game with me.
Yeah.
I buy it. They bail on it.
Yeah.
Almost immediately.
Yeah.
And then I bail on it shortly thereafter.
So it's bad friends is what you're saying. It's not early access isn't the problem. It's one bad friend that gets everyone to play bad games. That's why I bought Rust.
Yeah,
because it was one bad friend who wanted to play. Everybody wanted to play Rust together. Yep. And so we all had to go buy an early access game.
That happened to me again with Life is Feudal. Another early access game. Same friend.
Man. Okay, so if we've learned anything today, it's that John either needs A, better friends, or I don't know. What would B be?
That.
Just better friends?
Yeah.
A is better friends, B is better friends?
I mean, honestly, just to not buy early access.
Yeah, just don't buy early access games, man.
Unless it's made by like a AAA developer, maybe not even then.
Yeah, you would have been in the early access for Assassin's Creed Unity.
Ugh.
Because it has co-op and your friends want to play it.
Yeah, but the problem with, I've never succumbed to the Assassin's Creed like hype, because I played the first one and I was so bored by it, because I also had like Elder Scrolls games at the time to play, and I was like,
weren't you in the ESO beta that you
Elder
paid
Scrolls
for?
Online?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
that game was bad too.
Yeah.
I got pretty decently far into that game, like level 30 or 50 or something like that.
Yeah.
So
that's a big developer too, right?
Actually, who made the MMO? It wasn't ZeniMax who made the MMO.
Really?
They subbed it out to someone else.
Okay.
They're having a big announcement soon, though.
Yeah, they're making Elder Scrolls 6 or whatever.
Supposedly, they haven't said what they're.
I mean, they're gonna make
or a Fallout. People think it might also be a Fallout because there hasn't been a Fallout in a long time.
Yeah.
Because there's been 2 Elder Scrolls titles since the last Fallout.
Oblivion and Skyrim?
No, Skyrim and ESO.
Oh.
Because Fallout New Vegas came out after.
Oh, yeah, okay.
So.
But, yeah, new friends, less early access. I think is the message.
It's true that it's been an issue where a lot of early access stuff doesn't come to fruition or doesn't come to fruition in a timely manner.
Yeah.
Or they overpromise, which is a pretty common thing.
Yeah.
That's where the Kickstarter stuff comes in, is overpromising and lack of release dates.
Yeah.
Because there's like the Valve, or not Valve, the, what's that fucking cup thing?
Oh, I didn't get into the cup thing. I know you liked it. The cup that tells you.
Thing. I didn't like it, but I thought it was interesting. And I I knew a couple people who bought it, and they still haven't gotten it yet.
That was the cup that tells you what's inside of it.
Yeah. It does like an analyzer
like a smart cup
of the content.
Yeah. It's like, don't drink this cyanide.
It's like chalice or urn or something like that. I can't remember.
Yeah, I don't know.
Vessel. It was Vessel. So,
I mean, we're pretty close to an early access game too.
Which one? Oh, that one.
Yeah, and that was pretty delayed.
Oh my!
Still is delayed, right?
Yeah.
They've been giving regular updates. I mean,
yeah.
You know, that's not too big of an issue. But
that's not an early access. That's a Kickstarter.
Well, a Kickstarter. Sorry, crowdfunding.
Indiegogo.
Yeah.
Indiegogo on that one, and he overraised his budget, hired a developer that was drastically subpar.
Yeah. Well, I mean.
So, I mean, that one.
This was the trusting money in the hands of someone who's not like a vetted kind of producer of this content.
Developer.
Yeah. Like, you just don't go out and make a AAA title, you know?
Yeah, I mean, and that's an issue with like not business people doing business-esque things.
Yeah.
So you have a guy who has a good idea.
Right.
But that doesn't mean that he has business development skills or even people in his circle who are capable of managing the money accurately.
Yeah.
So if a guy's like, I think I can make this game, even if he's a good programmer. Mm-hmm. So he's like, yeah, I can make this game, and I make a little bit of it in my free time over the period of a year or so.
Yeah.
Get it to a Kickstarter, and the game looks super fun.
Right.
There's no... I mean, that's in large part why these things don't ever happen.
Yeah.
Because a good development team is nothing without management.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's what... I don't know if you ever heard of... Have you heard of the game Overwatch?
Yeah.
The rabbits and like wolves that are anthropomorphic and stuff.
No, wait, no, I don't think
I think it's called I think it's Overwatch. Maybe it's Overgrowth. I can't remember. It's rabbits. I'll figure it out and link that as well. I'll link everything, all the links.
None of the links.
It's like anthropomorphic rabbits and anthropomorphic wolves and stuff like that, and it's been in development hell for since like 2008 or 2009.
Oh man, yeah, man.
But people are just like it's got a really small, strong following of people, and they release tons and tons of updates, but it's just so far out.
Not happy. It's Duke Nukem Forevering.
Yeah, it's pretty much vaporware. So,
fucking Duke Nukem.
But that's one of the other problems with this kind of crowdfunding stuff. If you don't get the upfront money for that, then or you undershoot,
Yeah.
So
I've had a big problem with reboots too, or remakes.
Remakes. What do you mean?
Both. Well, reboots like taking an old franchise and bringing it back to life. Those have been really rough.
Some of them have been good though.
Yeah, good in minor ways.
Well, I mean, HD remixes have been not bad.
Yeah, I mean, like Monkey Island was a good HD remix.
So was DuckTales remastered.
Yeah.
Resident Evil.
Well, I mean, that one was okay. It was interesting, but Resident Evil was a really slow game.
I bought Age of Empires 2 HD because you couldn't play Age of Empires 2 anymore on a PC without doing crazy stuff to it. I mean, I owned it on a disc, CD-ROM, the gold edition thing, Conqueror's expansion, all that stuff, but...
I still have a lot of my game discs. I have the Team Fortress 2 disc and the CD and the booklet and everything.
Man.
That thing is really funny. Like, because now Team Fortress 2 doesn't even sell on a disc and it's free. So
yeah,
there was a period when it went free where the discs were still in stores and they didn't know what to do with them. They were like, because they pay. I mean, like, there's a money.
Right. Yeah. Valve didn't. I don't think Valve distributed the discs. They're not Valve discs. They're probably Sierra discs.
Somebody, I don't know. You could pull it out, but yeah.
Yeah, because Sierra used to be their publisher until Valve was like, we don't want to deal with publishers anymore. We don't want to deal with physical media. We
want to publish our own stuff.
We'll just give them
and other
digital
people's
downloads.
Stuff.
Well, they didn't do other people's stuff for a while, but...
Well, yeah. I mean, Team Fortress 2 was in... I mean, that was one of their earlier titles, like, in the Steam infrastructure.
Yeah.
But I remember Team Fortress 2 and Portal and stuff like that. Like, those games were...
Episode 1 and 2, still waiting on either Episode 3 if they're going to be weird about it. Because they had promised Episode 3.
Yeah, I mean, they did.
Yeah.
But...
That is a discussion for another Power On.
Valve time.
Yeah, we can talk about Valve. We'll probably talk about Valve, in the coming week because
honestly, tune in tomorrow for Valve episodes.
But yeah, I mean, get better friends. Stop buying early access games.
Yeah, I mean, it's unfortunate that they don't come to fruition because a lot of them have really good basis and really good premise. But
try to make an informed decision about your. I mean, do not get hyped. Just try to unhype yourself.
Yeah, that's the hard
part. Just look
at
it objectively, I guess. Yeah.
Because I didn't realize how many until you were like, this game. I was like, yeah, I bought that. This game, yeah, I bought that. This game, yeah, I bought that. And there's a countless amount of other ones, too. Yep. Like, my list is...
You were probably in Starbound early access.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
That one was pretty good, though. Starbound was pretty decent. Terraria, too.
There you go. So many.
I've bought a lot of early access games.
You have.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Starbound and Terraria are two pretty decent and finished games. Yeah. Although basic. Like, side-scrolling 2D games are much easier to develop. Mm-hmm. Obviously. Because they're environment assets and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And they have repetitive assets and all that type of stuff. So...
Color palette swaps and whatnot.
Yeah, I mean, that type of stuff is... The developer squad needed for those games is substantially smaller. But... Well, and procedurally generated stuff, too, also makes it, gives you a lot of content for little money. Mm-hmm. But voxel games have been kind of interesting. The introduction of, the voxel, giving you the ability, destructible environments and stuff like that.
Oh, well, I mean, they had the next-gen car game or whatever. That was, you know what I'm talking about? Where the car gets crushed down to, a single wheel and you're still burning rubber. Next
big car. Yeah, I don't know. I don't remember what that one's called, but
Node did a thing on it.
Yeah, I mean a lot of people played it. I've seen people. It ends up after a couple minutes just being people crushing cars.
Right. I guess there should be a better kind of I don't know, like a better moral standard for YouTubers doing this early access kind of stuff.
I mean, they play it for the response, and you're going to get a good response when these games suck.
No, I mean they play it for the response. They also play it because they get paid bank to play that kind of stuff. So Node, I'm sure, got paid a bunch of money to play a next gen card game.
Yeah, I don't know.
I'm sure Nanner's got a bunch of money to play Nether because he played Nether.
He got his own thing in Nether. They gave him early access to content.
Yeah.
And I know the next game card game is well developed, but like you said, slow updates.
Well, yeah. I mean, it basically the original kind of thing was just a physics simulator, honestly.
Yeah.
They just wanted to make sure they could get all their particles and stuff working. But very nice looking game.
Yeah. There's not a lot of content though. That's what the slow updates have resulted in.
But I mean, just don't be a paid beta tester.
Yeah, that's basically the
unless you're ready to be disappointed. If you're okay with seeing unfinished content,
I mean, honestly,
sorting through bugs, that kind of stuff.
In my case, I always forget. The thing is, don't get early access amnesia.
Yeah.
Because that's what happens.
Remember, yeah.
Because you see a trailer and you're like, this is going to be fucking great.
Yeah.
And it's not.
Right.
And you wait.
Yep. And you just spent, $25 to $60 on nothing. A game that you're going to uninstall and never play again.
Yeah, I wish I could get that money back. You can't.
No.
That's the lesson you learn here. You can't get that early access money back.
No.
And they sure aren't using it properly. So. Yeah. But all right, I'd like to thank you guys for joining us. Hit the like button on YouTube. Follow us on Twitch. And we will see you tomorrow.
Later.